Welcome back. My name is Danny, and today I'm going to be talking to you about probably the most important aspect of your business, mindset. Without the correct mindset, no lead source, no scripts, no approaches could ever equal the success that you want to get. The reality is that your life is only as good as your mindset. And the way that I like to think about it is like an analogy of a tree, okay? The fruit that you see with your eyes and you eat with your mouth are really determined by the roots down in the ground that you cannot see, that you don't know what are doing, but they are really determining what the fruit becomes. That is identical to the mindset concept, okay? Your thoughts, your mindset, what's going on in your brain between your two ears is really what is determining your life, okay? Your actions, your results, who you are, what your family is doing, all of that is kind of the fruit of the tree, but it's really driven by the roots down below. So today we're going to be talking about mindset, kind of the introduction, and in the future videos we're going to break down some specific mindsets that are key to achieving six figures in real estate. I'm going to be discussing a concept that I learned in the book called The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. It really goes into depth into mindset and habits and all of that. But today I'm just going to keep it simple and just really introduce what mindset is, because if you're like me, again, I came from a blue collar, low income. I was a teacher for a few years. I never really thought about what I thought about. Okay, it's weird to say, but it is so true. I never really cared about what was going on in my head until I realized that what's really going on in my head is really driving everything else about my life. So I really started to dig into my mindset, my philosophies, my thoughts, my actions, all of that, and it's really started to impact my life in so many different ways. So I'm so excited to share with you guys this concept, okay? And the concept is this. Really, you want to get to the results, okay? These are kind of what you see, that fruit on the tree, okay? But if you look backwards, okay, the results are really driven by your actions, and your actions are really driven by your emotions, and your emotions are really driven by your thoughts. Okay, and one simple story that I like to share and kind of illustrate this is recently I was on a cruise with my family. My dad and I were at this bar, and he's just sitting there with his beer. I'm sitting there sipping on some Crown, and he says something so nonchalant, so casually, and it really caught me off guard. Okay, and he looks at me and says, "Danny, man, I hate working out. It's just so unenjoyable." And then I look down at his body, and I could tell he's kind of let his body go. He's probably 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds overweight. And the reason why this is so important, because what he said to me, what he communicated, were his thoughts about working out. And then his results or lack of results of being in shape and being healthy, all of that were driven by the thought of not liking working out, or not finding it enjoyable, and not seeing the purpose of it. Okay, so you can see how these thoughts turn into emotions of stress, of feeling daunting, of not wanting to do it, and then that led to the actions or lack of actions of working out, which led to the lack of results, okay, of being 10, 20 pounds overweight. You see this progression of what someone says at a bar to who they are in real life, okay? And there's so many instances of that if we were actually paying attention and actually listening to people, and then even looking in within ourselves, okay? How am I thinking about working out? How am I thinking about door knocking? How am I thinking about for sale by owners? How am I thinking about building a business? Because my thoughts are going to lead to my emotions, which are going to lead to my actions, which are then going to drive my results. And so this is so foundational, guys, because again, in life, and especially in business, okay, if you're thinking that making six figures is going to be impossible, there's no way, I've only ever made up to $30,000, okay, well, what type of emotion is that going to lead to? That's going to probably lead to feelings of being overwhelmed, of lack of motivation, of feeling like this isn't for me, like I'm not good enough. So you can see how the thought of approaching a business is going to lead to an emotion. And what happens when emotions are so powerful, okay? Think about any memory that you have, okay? If you think about a memory that you have 5, 10, 20 years ago, think about that, and then think about what you were feeling in that moment. Okay, take a second and actually think about that. I go back to when I was 8 years old. I was at a theme park. It was my birthday party, and I was just so happy that all of my family was there, that we were out having fun. I realized that my memory is really tied to my emotion, okay? If you're thinking about a memory, you're most likely thinking, if you search around, that you are having an emotion in that moment too, and that's really what locks it into your brain as a memory. So emotions are super powerful, okay? So don't think that I could feel sad and then be excited to do something. No, okay? Your emotions are going to drive your actions. Okay, so if I think that I'm not good enough to make six figures, that leads to feelings of inadequacy, which are going to lead to lack of drive to make phone calls or to follow up with people or to care for people, which then leads to the lack of results, okay, or to minimal results. Okay, so your thoughts lead to your emotions, lead to actions, and leads to results. This is so key because how you think and what you think about is really who you are and who you're going to become. Okay, so if you want to change who you're going to become and who you currently are, you have to change your thoughts. It starts with your thoughts. Okay, and so in the future videos to come, we're going to really dig into some of the specific mindsets that you need to have as a top producer in your market, because without them, you will not be able to achieve your six-figure goal. It's just that simple. If you do not have the correct foundation, if you do not have the correct roots, there's no way that you will have that fruit of six figures. It's impossible. So tune in. Again, it's me, Danny, the Sherpa to Six Figures. If you have not subscribed, please do. Comment down below, #MoveForward. Let's go ahead and continue to move forward.